evolution of sound.
Beep beep, what's up ninjas? My name is Sylenth1 and today I want to teach you guys 5 advanced techniques that you can utilize today, right now, to increase, your sound design level and also, get presets, make them your own, or take the presets to a whole new level. Now, these are going to be 5 techniques from my Sylenth1 Udemy course, Sylenth1 Secrets, Advanced Techniques for Sylenth1. If you guys are interested in more like these, make sure to check it out as I will be offering these techniques. Now, you can find all these techniques on my YouTube channel. I'm not going to lie. You can find them for free, but you're going to have to go through the 100 sound design videos I made, the past 2 years. And that's where it's kind of like, okay, up to you guys. So pretty much, let's get started. So the first thing I want to talk to you guys about is going to be the way that audio is routed in Sylenth1. This is the first tip that I'm going to give you because it's very important for you to understand this. So pretty much the moment you play a sound in Sylenth1, it's going through, its little phase, it's coming out of the oscillator, going through filters, blah, 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 going through the effects, and that's it. But the important part of all of this is going to be the fact that your sound gets filtered first before effects are applied on it. And this is crucial and very, very important because Sylenth1 doesn't let you switch it. You can't have distortion before the filter or, it's always going to be after the filter. So pretty much a lot of people always go in and they think that that's what's getting distorted when they have a filter and it sounds like that. So the first thing for you to understand is that when you have a filter, that's what the effects are going to be applied to, that sound, not the original saw sound. Now, here is where the first tip comes into mind, and that is going to be utilizing filters with distortions to create more crazy, unique sounds. So pretty much anyone can have a saw. Apply distortion. Sounds nice. The other thing we can do is apply a low pass and lower the cutoff. Apply a large amount of distortion. Now, the technique here where it turns, its head, you're going to be like, oh, that sounds kind of similar, Sylenth1, is where you apply the resonance. And a lot of people are scared to play with that. But the moment we apply resonance, that's where we turn this sound into something more along the likes of like big room leads, hardware leads, trap leads, and stuff like that. Now, you can see once we're here. Now, this is where we apply mono legato, and this is tip number 2, I guess, but it's not legitly tip number 2. And look, it took me all that to make it, but not a lot of people would know how to do that, and that's the thing with these techniques, guys. Now, let's apply tip number 2. If you guys didn't notice, the moment I moved the resonance, there was a change in the sound, and I actually like that. So pretty much check this out. You know that change, right? Well, let's say that I like that change and I'm like, oh, it would be so cool if I played it and it did that, and then it would play the sound. Well, the next tip that I give you, and that's going to be tip number 2, is always use envelopes for stuff that you want to do like that. It's going to be pretty much learn ADSR. Envelopes are the most important thing in sound design, in my opinion. And that's coming from me because a lot of sounds that I have to like learn how to, design for the tutorials I did back in the day for you guys, like, Paris Blom stuff, Tremor and all these stuffs. Utilized envelopes to do these kind of effects. So pretty much if we go into our mod envelope 1 and let's say I want to automate the resonance, I can. Now, the effect happens when it sounds like this. Right? So let's just move it back here and say I want this envelope to open it up over here. So how do I do that? Well, pretty simple. It's very basic, but then again, a lot of people wouldn't know how to do it properly. Now, I want the effect to happen and then stay up here. So that means my sustain needs to be up. So this is why Sylenth1 Advanced Techniques, I call it Advanced Techniques because you need to understand ADSR and all this stuff in order to understand what I'm saying. Now, I want the resonance to go up. And you can see it's kind of already getting there. Now, it's taking too long to get up. And the effect doesn't really sound as good as I thought. Let's go from here down. So we're going to go down on it. So that gives me sort of like this little neat technique. It's like you can kind of hear it, but it's there. Check it out. So you can see that's a simple one. Like it just gives it that nice texture and you wouldn't be able to tell because you're always like fucking with it. But this is something that you can learn easily. And these are just techniques that you can apply again. We applied the filter, we applied the distortion technique, and now we applied the envelope. Now let's say Now, let's say that I want this to sound very gritty. Is there a technique for that? Yes, there is. And that's where, the techniques are coming handy. So pretty much anything that you LFO at a very fast rate that has to do with the phase, the cutoff, the distortion, the pitch, will always give you a very more gritty sound. What does this mean? This means that, let's say you like, oh, this sounds awesome, but I want more dirt on it. What can I do besides, there's already distortion on it. There's more things that we can apply. The next one is going to be to use the phase, pitch, or the resonance, or you can use the cutoff. Now I'm going to use the cutoff for this one because I think it would sound neat, especially with that resonance up there. Now this is where we're going to apply a lot of rate, remember, and a little bit of gain, and turn this to the right. But you want it really fast. We want it fast because pretty much, I don't know if you guys ever seen like a needle that's moving so fast and it looks like it's still in the center, but it's moving hella fast. That's what we're doing here. The pitch is changing so fast that it just sounds like we're still like at that, harmonic note, or sorry, the cutoff in this instance. And you can see it just gives you such a unique sound. And if we add reverb to this, we're going to get there. Let's lower the mono legato on that. And that's where, sound design just takes a whole new level. And I call it advanced techniques, even though we're still doing basic stuff. But a lot of people wouldn't know how to do this. And that's the cool thing, Mod envelope, I want to give it that little unique twist. I use the resonance or the pitch. I could have done the same thing with the pitch, by the way. And all that stuff. So tip number 4, you want to add grit, or I think it's tip number 3, use the LFO in such a way. So pretty much so far, let's just recap. Tip number 1, the filters. Tip number 2, the distortion. Tip number 3, the mod envelopes. Tip number 4 is going to be the LFO technique that I taught you to get more grit. And finally, the last one is going to be the reverb technique. And this is going to be more for trap producers, but I mean, if you guys are making big room, maybe you can try it out. Now, this is where we take a turn for a little bit more advanced, even though it's super simple, but this is where a lot of people are going to fuck it up. I can teach you this technique, but it doesn't mean you're going to be able to use it properly unless you understand it. So pretty much we're going to put the reverb all the way up at 100%. Now, a lot of people know when you do this, you get something like, like a shit ton of reverb. Like, it doesn't sound good. It's not usable. But the moment we lower the size down, we get this new tone to it, I like to call the trap tone. And I'm teaching a trap sound design class here in Los Angeles next month. And for sure, this is going to be on the curriculum, the reverb tech. It sounds stereo, but it doesn't sound good stereo. So one of the things here is we have a knob called the width, which we can control the sound. Now remember, we're hearing the fully wet sound with this reverb technique because we have the wet all the way up. So pretty much here, we can make the sound mono. We can make it stereo. But what if we wanted stereo and mono? That's where the problem arises. But there's another technique, tip number 6, unofficial. A lot of people don't know that the stereo knob exists here. And a lot of people think, oh, it's just stereo, I'm gonna leave it stereo because stereo sounds great. But one of the things that we can do is that since this technique is gonna make our sound very stereo and not sound powerful enough, is that we can make another saw here, make this be our mono saw. Now this is where we get both the best worlds. Now, if we compress this, then you're going to hear this one pop out more. And this is where tip number 7 comes in. God, I should have named this 7 advanced tips. Now, if I lower the octave. Now, let's take off the reverb. How does that sound like? Yeah, it doesn't sound that good. So we're going to put that reverb back. And that's going to be the sound we created. And it's crazy, we just got all these techniques, put them together to create this sound. So if you guys want more techniques like this, more advanced ones than this one, make sure to go check out Sylenth1 Advanced Secrets. You owe it to yourself, in my opinion. And if you guys are serious about sound design and taking your sounds to the next level, then Sylenth1 Secrets is for you guys. Support your boy like always, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. We're releasing a freebie for Confessions Revolutions, and I got my new synthesizer in. It's in the back. It's a Moog Sub 37, so I'll be making a video on that as well in the coming days. Be on the lookout, and happy days, ninjas. Take care and have an amazing day. Somebody gonna get pregnant.